So why would somebody want to get a financial planner versus looking it up on the internet?
There's either two things that are going to happen. Either one day you're going to croak and you have no choice. So what did you plan for in regards to all the loved ones you left behind? Or number two, there will come a day your body fails you and you can't physically work anymore. So what happens then? What does that look like? Is it in the right kind of checking and savings accounts where it's actually making you money and working for you? A lot of what we do is we focus on, a crafted plan for each and every individual, because nobody's going to be able to accept the same cookie cutter answer because we're not all alike.
I said, you mean people are different?
Seeking a professional is not a sign of weakness. It is not a sign of lacking knowledge. It is just you showing that you want to make sure that things are done the right way and be able to have the financial literacy and the knowledge to know all of your options out there. This is not something that you need to have money to do, because believe it or not, you make a financial decision every single day. So why wouldn't you just have some kind of plan or structure with those decisions?
This is the Clark Connection Podcast, where 12 years of coaching championships meets real-world leadership. Coach Clark broke through at the highest levels. Now he's bringing you the playbook. Every week, real leaders, real wins. Real strategies you can use Monday morning. If you're done with theory and ready for results, this is your show. You in? Let's go!
And what's going on, everyone? And welcome back to the Clark Connection Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Clark, a.k.a. The Coach, a leadership speaker, trainer, and coach. This podcast is all about leadership development, personal growth, and entrepreneurship. And we bring you real conversations with real people who are doing the work and making an impact. Our fast leadership truth for you today: applied knowledge is power. It's not what you know, it's what you actually do with what you know that changes your life. Today's episode is going to challenge the way you think about money, planning, and your future. If you ever thought you need to have a certain amount of money before you start taking financial planning serious, this conversation is going to flip that mindset. But before we jump in, I want to take a moment and shout out our fantastic sponsors. The Clark Connection Podcast is powered by Coach Clark Leadership and Development. We help organizations develop leaders who multiply leaders through live training, executive coaching, and cultural strategy. And if you want to grow alongside other serious leaders, join our Leadership Multiplier School community. It is a space built for intentional leadership growth, connection, and accountability. Learn more at CoachAClark.com. This episode of the Clark Connection Podcast is proudly brought to you by Hubbard Flooring Studio. Leadership, growth, and success all start with a strong foundation, but the details matter too. Vicki and her team don't just specialize in high-quality flooring. They also offer Hunter Douglas blinds, bringing both function and design together in one place. Whether you're building, renovating, or upgrading a home or business, Hubbard Flooring Studio helps you create a space that reflects quality, intention, and excellence, from the floors you stand on to the light you let in. Now, if you're ready to work with people who care about craftsmanship and getting it right, visit hubbardflooringstudio.com or call 225-924-1582. Hubbard Flooring Studio, covering you from the ground up. Shout out to Steadfast Electric for supporting the show. When your power needs to be reliable, not just good enough, Brian and his team deliver safe, dependable electric work for homes and businesses. No shortcuts, no guesswork. Learn more at steadfastelectric.com or call 225-457-7957. Steadfast Electric, reliable power done right the first time. I want to recognize Bobby with the Comfy Quest LLC for sponsoring the podcast. Bobby specializes in craniosacral therapy, a highly specialized form of body work. This work helps the body release deep tension, regulate the nervous system, and truly reset. To learn more or book a session, visit massagebook.com/acomfyquest or call 225-773-0307. A Comfy Quest. Specialized craniosacral therapy for a real nervous system reset. A big thanks to Automate Integrate Professional Services for backing the show. Andrew helps businesses simplify, automate, and integrate their systems so leaders stop wasting time on manual work and start focusing on growth. Visit automate-integrate.com or email Andrew at automate-integrate.com. Automate Integrate. Systems that work so you don't have to overwork. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Bob Smith, chiropractic internist, for sponsoring today's episode. Dr. Bob focuses on identifying the root cause of pain and dysfunction, not just covering up symptoms. If your body isn't performing the way it should, this is the kind of care that looks deeper. Learn more at brspine.com or call 225-291-2626. Dr. Bob Smith, finding the root cause, not just chasing symptoms. Thanks for all that you do. This show would not be possible if it was not for your support. Also, make sure you're connected with me on social media so we can keep the conversation going. You can find me on all platforms at Coach_A_Clark. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed, following, and share this podcast with somebody who needs it. Now, let me introduce our guest. Jessalyn Roussin, that is a seasoned financial planner who is passionate about helping individuals and families build strong financial foundations, no matter where they are starting. In this episode, she breaks down the importance of personalized financial planning, that debunks the myth that you need a lot of money, and shares practical strategies for early investing, planning for your children, and setting yourself up for long-term success. She also dives into the role of financial advisors, the importance of financial literacy, and how taking small intentional steps can lead to real financial freedom over time. This is one of those conversations that's not just informative, it's necessary. Let's get into it. And Jessalyn, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine. I know you've got a lot going on, jam-packed. That everybody's busy these days, right?
Yeah, you could say that times 10.
I appreciate you carving out some time for us. I just told everybody a little bit about you, financial planner. So what exactly is a financial planner?
Love that. It is going to be a little confusing to some. I mean, you hear financial planning, and then you hear financial advisors, you hear financial representatives. Sometimes they go all in one. Sometimes they're a little bit different. But in the advisory and the planning space, quite frankly, to make it simple is what I tell people. I am just here to help you make sense of what the heck does money do and what can we do with it. Putting money in a piggy bank, put money in a savings account and a checking account, that's great. But sometimes we're not really explained and taught much more than sign here and dot here and fill out some basic work benefits and off you go. And then that's it. And it's much deeper than that. So a lot of what we do is we focus on, a crafted plan for each and every individual, because nobody's going to be able to accept the same cookie cutter answer, because we're not all alike. If you believe it or not, there are not two people on earth that want their financial plan to be exactly the same.
Hold on.
And that's probably just because we're not like, what was that?
I said, you mean people are different?
People are very different. However you want to describe different, in every which way. But yes, that's exactly what we do. And it looks a little different for everybody, but we'll start with some of the basics, some of the education and the financial literacy, and then move up and really get into the weeds and ask deep questions. So.
All right. And so one of my questions is, now that you're saying different financial planner versus advisor, then so don't you have to have a lot of money to get started with one of you guys?
No, and I think that's kind of the myth buster that we should probably discuss, because I like to almost tell my clients right off the bat, hey, I have clients that are 18, I have clients that are 88, I have a client that makes 15, 20 grand a year, and then we have clients that make 15, 20 million a year. This is not something that you need to have money to do because believe it or not, you make a financial decision every single day. So why wouldn't you just have some kind of plan or structure with those decisions, no matter how much you make? So no, there is really no portfolio. I mean, sometimes advisors, want to focus on a certain salary or certain base. I just truly don't believe in that, just because I think everybody at any stage in life deserves the same education on that. So.
Yeah, and you answered my question. I was like, well, what age can I start working with a financial planner or financial advisor? But you said 18 to 88, and I'm sure it goes up higher than 88.
If you want me to make a joke, I got toddlers as clients. And as funny as that is, when parents want to get proactive and they want to start planning for their kids, they're going to start planning for their 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 10, 12, 14, 16. So, and then they end up working with us as they get older and we get to see those multi-generations come in. So in all reality, one-on-one, probably 18 would be a smart starting spot, but we can even help families with kiddos as well.
And that makes a lot of sense too. I was like, what do you mean younger than 8? Like, she caught me sleeping. My eyes wide open.
Yeah, no, it's very fun almost because you get to see these families who are thinking about their well-being of their kids without the child even really being in, a cognitive space to understand what their parents doing. But when they are in 15, 16 and starting to talk about college and buying a house, all of a sudden they find out that their parents were proactive for them as children, and now you just get to see them blossom into whatever opportunity comes their way. So
No, I mean, like, what are all, and I'm not sure if you can even answer all these questions, but like, what all are different things that you can use to set up for, like, if I've got a 15-year-old that I know I don't have anything set up for, but like, let's say, like, my co-host, she's about to have a baby. Like, what are things that she can do with her soon-to-be newborn?
love that. So one funny thing is parents kind of make the assumption when they're young, maybe their kid wants to go to college or maybe they don't want their kid to go to college. One of the biggest things that parents want to be really proactive on is, hey, how can I maybe set up some kind of tool or some kind of system where my kid will have exactly what they need, if not a really good starting point when they come to the age of going to school? That's maybe something like a 529 plan, a really high yield savings account, something to start your kiddo off on the right track. A lot of parents don't know there is other tools out there that are tied to things like life insurance planning. You can even get that for your kids when they're young. There's even different types of life insurance. You can actually grow cash in one of them that accumulates over time. So when they're 18, 19, 20 years old, you've already got a good pot that's accessible and liquid in there. And then a lot of families just want to ask us, what can I do that's just simply better than a basic savings account? And those are some of the questions that will stem in a meeting with the client and what their actual goal is. So again, I could give you a cookie cutter answer, but that wouldn't be fair without actually speaking with the client one-on-one to make sure that they know what their goals are.
Right. Yeah. And that's just kind of what I was looking for, like the broad answer. So, thanks for that. No, because that's what I wanted. Was I didn't want you to be like, so Aaron, you should put it here.
Yes.
I was just wanting to know what are the general things that I could, or somebody could do for their under 18 person.
Absolutely. Yep. We have, some of these tools people don't even know could be started for maybe education savings. And then when they get to a certain age, if a child says, well, guess what, mom and dad or grandma and grandpa, I don't want to go to college. Well, that's okay. That doesn't mean the money's wasted. That just means we convert it into a different tool that they can use as an adult. So there's a lot of cool, adult, child planning, everything out there. But we would completely get into that whenever I'm sitting down with a parent, and families are a soft spot for me because I want to make sure that everybody in that household is well taken care of and well protected.
Yeah. And that's cool. And it kind of goes, you see, I always like to joke with my financial advisor that, that everything's like, Wolf on Wall Street, and, he's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, dude, I want you to make me $1 bazillion. But
Yeah, you should see, actually, ironically, in my closet behind me, I have a big old picture of Leonardo DiCaprio throwing dollar bills off of a yacht. So the fact that you brought that up, very funny. Now, is that the reality of it? Maybe. But we want to have some safe buckets, some aggressive buckets, and everything in between. Great movie, though.
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, I know there's other things you can and can't do. And that's why I was like, all right, what are things that you would look at to try to help get somebody on the right path? Because I know it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and they're not
Yeah,
all trying to just get your money in.
right. Absolutely. There's kind of and people are very visual. Maybe that's just me, but I love visuals. I like to understand how things work. And I always make a joke, like maybe you are a person that just wants to know how to tell the time on a watch, but maybe you're a person that wants to know how the watch works and not just how to tell the time. And when you come in and you are very analytical and you want to understand how it works, we will go through that education from step 1 to step 100. But I like to show kind of an imaginary pyramid to my clients, is saying, hey, what's the biggest spot of this pyramid? And that's the bottom, that's the foundation. That's where you have to start. You can't just go 0 to 100 and be like, I want to invest and do this and that and all these wealth management tools that don't even exist if you didn't build a good foundation. So we always have to start somewhere, go through the baby steps, go through the monotonous questions, and then we can go up from there and have fun and play with it and protect what we got and just grow the education over time.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of brings up a good question for me. I mean, how important is that first asking all the baby questions, I guess you would say?
I really like to look at people more as clients versus customers. And what I mean by that is you coming into my office and just asking, like, hey, I just need to know some basic information. I just want to purchase a life insurance policy or open up an IRA. That's great if you came in with a one-track mind and you just wanted something. I believe more in the client building aspect where you and I are going to sit down and we're going to get to know each other. We're going to ask those questions, because how am I supposed to know that you want to drive a Maserati at 50 years old and live in a lake home, or if you want to just have some 20 acres on private land with your kiddos and some money in the bank? So until I ask those questions and I actually get to hear who you are at the root of your personality and your desires, I can't build an effective plan for anybody until I get to know you. And that's how we continue growing a relationship over time. And I mean, I have some friends and clients that are coming to my wedding. That's the kind of goal that I want, is to build a relationship with people.
No, and I think that's important. I don't care what industry you're in. And this is where I'll tell everybody, sales is education, education is sales. Because you're going through and educating your people, but you can't, like, people hear salesman and they think, ooh, there's the slick back hair guy with, like, hey, kick the tire, kid. Like, that's what everybody thinks of. That just
Absolutely.
Car salesman, used car salesman is what people think.
Yeah.
But it's something we all are involved in. And I love that you take the time I want to get to know you to see, how do I help you?
Absolutely. And even just for, personality differences, like maybe somebody doesn't like that I am extremely extroverted and I talk with my hands, even though I'm not Italian, right? So there's going to be conflict of interest with personalities where maybe somebody doesn't want somebody as boisterous and bold. Maybe you do want a calm, laid back guy, or somebody who shows up in a suit and has all the answers for you, or somebody who can show up in a sweatshirt and be like, hey, this is what's up, right? So it also kind of helps weed out for both sides, right? Like, am I going to fit well with a client, but are they even going to fit well with me? And then when we decide that, then we start to get to the nitty gritty. Who are you? What do you want to do? And then how can I be of assistance in that situation?
Yes. Like you said earlier, no two people are alike.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Preach, because that is accurate. You would think that every parent that has a couple kids in a house and a car and a job would think the same way and want the same things. And it doesn't happen that way. So it's my job to navigate and to draw out that picture for each one of them in their own special, unique way.
Hey, if you've liked what you've seen so far, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow the show. That way we can continue to bring you great guests and great content like you've seen so far. Now back to the episode. Absolutely. And so, all right, Now my question, because I don't think I know too many people that wake up and say, I'm going to be a financial planner. But how did you get to where you are?
I love that question. It's probably my favorite question to answer. And I will tell this with the most enthusiasm. I came from an education background. My goal, my intention was to be a teacher. Unfortunately, when you're graduating with your bachelor's degree and you're ready to take on the world, right at the very beginning of 2020, I can tell you the education system looked a lot different. Then it became where I couldn't even do my college graduation ceremony. Everything was going online. All of a sudden, you're used to being in the classrooms with kiddos, and now everything is electronic. You know, COVID really changed a lot of how we ran everything. And then I'm like, well, what the heck? Like, what's going to happen when we're back in the classroom? What is that even going to look like? Like, am I trying to make 5, 6, 7-year-olds keep their masks on and screaming and crying and having my kiddos be sick and worrying about what is life going to look like? Or do I just take a different route? And, by God's grace, something came to me where I'm like, this is close to home. This is amazing. And that was in the logistics business. Did I think I was going to be in the trucking industry for years? No. I couldn't tell you what at the time a dry van or a reefer, a flatbed step deck RGN truck was, but I knew that it fit my personality with a little bit of the sales, a little bit of the customer service, and it's just a huge industry. So I was in trucking logistics for years and running 2 other businesses on the side of that. I was running a Western boutique business and I was running an event coordinating business. And at one point, when you're getting really exhausted, I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Like, I have a degree in something. I run 2 businesses. Why am I working for an employer that I just don't feel like this is serving myself justice? And so I collaborated and I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to meet with people. I get to educate. I get to change the trajectory of people's lives and run my own business, being a financial planner. Sign me up. And that is exactly where I landed, and I couldn't be more happy.
And that does fit your personality well. So when you were going into education, you were wanting to do like elementary school, because you said like 5, 6, 7-year-old.
I had a thing. I wanted to craft, and I just had this thing in my mind that I was going to be able to change how kids kind of between like the ages of K and 5 learned and have a safe haven, right? Because when kids go to school and they have a teacher that they can rely on and be excited to see, no matter what was going on at home, I wanted to make sure that children at that age of adolescence had a secure backbone to come to school and to like what they're doing and to feel safe. So that was really my niche of an age. It would have been anything K through 12 at that point, but I loved working with little kids. I've always, thought they were just so funny and unfiltered. So
oh man, I couldn't have done that. I did teach high school for 12 years. So I know people that are like, what? You did
yeah, that
like,
has its days too, but
yeah, I mean,
they all do. They all do.
I could at least be sarcastic and them catch on.
Yeah, I suppose high school kids might give you a little bit of it. It's just funny because I see videos of like kids coming home and they're like 5. And I don't know if you've seen this video, but he comes off the bus and he's like, Mom, you know that sandwich you made me? It was terrible, by the way. And he's 5 years old, right? So it makes me laugh and smile all at the same time. I mean, I love high schoolers, but they tend to, they get in their own lane sometimes. So it's a little hard to handle, and it is what it is. But, they all need good teachers too. So.
Oh yeah. No, because I did at one of my jobs, I was between one of the elementary schools and the high school. And so it was I was like, oof, I can't wait to get back into the high school.
That makes sense.
Little kids were just like, hey. And I'm like, go away.
Maybe I'm just naturally an energetic kid at heart, and that's why I'm on the same level as them so easy. So we'll see, maybe.
Oh yeah, no, they were fun. I do agree with that, but I was like, oh no, I can't deal with all the needy and not being able to just say, hey, seriously, go away. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. Go find somebody else. Tone it down a little bit. No, yeah. I get it.
Well, and I guess that too probably helped you with moving into the the planning arena and the financial arena, because most people are probably like elementary school kids and like, oh, money.
You said it. You said it. I have met some adult
I know
children.
I am.
No, it is true. It's very true, because yes, you maybe get into the rhythm of teaching certain ages, but that doesn't mean that the job of teaching and being a teacher has changed, because maybe now I'm not talking with 5 and 6-year-olds, but there unfortunately are still even people that you would think are adults, and sometimes just the way that they, act or what they say and what they have or haven't done, you're kind of like, wow, like, you don't know much more than some of the kids that are in high school. But that's also, again, my job is we're not taught this stuff in school. And believe it or not, I do feel that is kind of a pawn, because why would you teach us all of these tools where we can be really successful and really knowledgeable in school so that we're just unstoppable as we're adults? Well, no, of course not, because there is kind of that, rhythm of, hey, we always kind of need some people to rely on the bigger picture in life, and we don't want to set everybody up for success. Otherwise, this world is going to be just a powerhouse of people. But that's now my job, is to make sure that these people get the stuff that you weren't taught. And that doesn't even necessarily mean in school. It might even be just in your household, in your history, in your background, because we see parents and grandparents that don't even know that this stuff existed and what they should have been doing generationally. And it just keeps going. So it's like, who's going to break that chain and make the commitment to become financially free and then pass it on to their children and so forth?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, with the education system fails us completely on making sure people understand just how money works in general. But you got to look at who all set up the original education system, and the fact that they set it up in order to be able to hire more employees. Bell rings, go to break. Bell rings, go back to work. Bell rings.
God, now I'm hearing bells ringing in my ears. This is getting a little like PTSD here, because I can hear the bells ringing in school, and it is. I mean, it's just that, like, is my 15-minute break done yet as an adult, and am I allowed to leave and do whatever? So I think even just my attitude of, hey, if I can do it, then I'm going to do it by myself, and I'm going to be my own boss. And that's a huge part. Like, now I don't even know if I could ever be an employee again, because I think once you're so driven and committed to something, then you go with it and you have that discipline to run that business every single day. But you have to make sure that you're committing time to it and not just slacking off and going on vacation every week. So it holds me accountable as well. But I absolutely agree. Like, the education system, unfortunately, this was just not stuff that we were given as a tool in our tool belt. So
Right. And now, I mean, even though that was your original mission, was to, hey, let's go and see if we can't change it. Now, you'd have been so limited to just, hey, here's this 200 to 400 kids you would get to see every year, versus now that you've got a large platform to be able to do that.
absolutely. Well, yeah, and I mean, even social media and where that's gone. It's like you get people messaging you in social media like, "Oh my gosh, I saw or I read this. Like, is this correct?" And I tend to tell people this because I believe it's true. But sometimes in this industry, or really in anything, it's kind of like, you look up your symptoms to something and the internet tells you you're dying, right? Okay, in my field, an over analysis of you trying to figure out the answer, it will become paralysis, because you're not going to know where to start. So why wouldn't you sit down, speak with a professional who can actually answer the questions for you and have a clear, concrete path, instead of trying to meander every which way you can do things? Because our goal at the end of the day is still to tell you all your options, but we have to be able to explain them to you and not just rely off of Google or Siri or ChatGPT to tell you the answer, and then you're going to be like, now I don't know where to start.
Right. And I like that analogy, you looking up your symptoms, now WebMD or whatever it is. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm guilty of it. I can't say I'm perfect, but I definitely didn't die half the times I ever searched what my symptoms were. So
Right. Like, I've got a little bit of a runny nose and a cough. It's all of
And
these.
all of a
It
sudden
could
it's
be one of these-
pneumia.
And yeah, you're about to die. You've got 10 minutes to live. Call 911,
Exactly.
make it to the hospital now.
Yeah, it is. And it's scary. And honestly, as sad as it sounds, I actually even think that some of what the internet spits out could even be like flooding these hospitals and medical departments because people think there's something so severely wrong that they're just like sitting in the ER and they're calling 911 or they're doing all these things. And it's like, well, maybe if we had some people that were giving some education, specifically my department, we wouldn't have to flood the system with misinformation. We would just know where to go and what direction to turn to.
Oh, that's good stuff. I like that. Now, do y'all hold and host like different webinars and whatnot for people, or how do y'all go about that? I don't want to say like just acquiring clients. Like, I feel like that's the wrong word, but like, do y'all do certain things like that? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Absolutely. Well, and kind of building up that book of business. Like, how do you continue driving the book? How do you meet these people? How do you build these clients? And one of the biggest things I tell clients in our one-on-one meetings is, quite frankly, the biggest way that a client could ever pay me or be there for me or help me continue teaching education and to other people is word of mouth, referrals, and passing this information out, right? I feel like I can sit back sometimes and say, wow, I made it when I have somebody calling me like, so and so gave me your information and they were so excited and I'm so excited, like I have to meet with you, because now you know that people that had that experience with you are talking highly about you to other people, that they feel led to call me. Because let's be honest, you probably have a list of 1 through 10 things to do, and financial advising falls at maybe your number 11, but maybe 1 through 10 is going to be solved by number 11, right? So how do we kind of put that into your, natural day, not make it scary, and just have people want to talk to me? And then when I continue meeting more people, they are going to be apt to help me say who deserves to have these same types of conversations, or who in your world do you know that this is really going to help and benefit? And that's how you grow this business. It is not cold calling. It is not finding people on the internet. It is not offering out every single thing that you can do for them. It is just being a genuine person and being really good at educating to the point where people are excited to do this stuff.
We want to take a quick moment to shout out today's premier sponsor, Vicky with Hubbard Flooring Studio. Leadership always starts with a strong foundation, and so does your home or office. Vicky and her team don't just cover floors, they help you step into excellence one plank, tile, or carpet at a time. And now, they are offering Hunter Douglas blinds, giving you the ability to set the tone, control the light, and create the perfect environment to lead from. Hubbard Flooring Studio, where strong foundations and bright visions begin. Oh, I like it. I kind of lost where I was going to ask you. I was like, oh man, you gave just so much good information. I feel like I'm drinking through a fire hydrant right now. It's just all over
Hey, it's
the
okay.
place. But I think it's so important, so good, like you said, to have somebody that knows how to do it. Like, you go to the doctor whenever you need medical help. When you need financial help, why wouldn't you go to a financial professional instead of your Uncle Jimbo or your Aunt Sally that barely graduated high school?
Right. Well, and it's not a diss to the people in our lives that have tried to teach us stuff, but I think people come in, and this is my very cookie cutter example, but you call people and they're like, yeah, I have a savings account, a checking account. I have my 401k at work. I've got some basic benefits. I think I'm pretty set, right? Well, okay, guess what? Is it in the right kind of checking and savings accounts where it's actually making you money and working for you? Number one. Number two is people don't even know the differences between 401ks and Roth plans and IRAs. What does it mean for tax purposes? Like, maybe you think you have $1 million in there and then you come to be 60 years old and want to retire and it gets slashed in half. Well, what if you knew where to implement a different tool that's going to save you money later on? When are you going to run out of money? People think, oh, Social Security and my pensions and my 401k, they'll all take care of it. No, like people can actually run out of money in retirement, and you got to plan for that. So it's just what people have been, kind of told is the right thing to do. It's a great starting point, but it's not going to be enough. And that's kind of where I have to be maybe the bad guy in the sense of saying, hey, this is a great start, but I do need to show you like 8 to 10 other buckets of places that we should be holistically planning for to make sure that you're going to be okay.
I mean, what if you're somebody who doesn't plan to ever retire?
I love that question. And I tell my father this all the time, all right? There is not
Like,
going to
ouch,
be.
calling him out. Call him out
Hey,
now.
he's okay because my parents, I love them to death. But one thing that when people ask me, like, how do you, how did you like shape and grow yourself? And my parents, I would have to say, maybe taught me more of what not to do. But that's not a bad thing because I had to learn on my own what is the wrong things to do to not be in the situation. And how do I change that and break that chain when I'm young and can help other people? And that's what I love to do. But that exact example is I've got so many blue collar guys that come into the office. I'm never going to retire. I'm going to work all the time. Well, I hate to break it to you. There's either two things that are going to happen. Either one day you're going to croak and you have no choice. So what did you plan for in regards to all the loved ones you left behind? Or number two, there will come a day your body fails you and you can't physically work anymore. So what happens then? What does that look like? There's not just this, you're alive and you're dead unless some tragedy or illness or disease happens. But both of those situations we should be planning for. And people don't understand, like, maybe you aren't going to retire fully, but what if there comes a day where at 60, you could retire and start taking some money and do something part-time that you like to do to keep yourself busy and still have extra variable income coming in? That is an option, but we have to plan for kind of the creepy, crawly, nasty things, and then we have to plan for what's just realistic. And that's going to be the day where we just can't physically work anymore.
Oh man, well, you've got me rethinking my strategy because I was planning on not retiring until death.
Hey, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you, I know there's going to come a day where you're going to wake up, oh my goodness, my back and my knees can't take this anymore. Your little Louisiana accent's going to be like, I'm done working.
Well, I was about to say my neck and my back and all that hurt right now. At 40, here we go. Time to retire.
Well, hey, maybe it's not that. Maybe you just want to like enjoy your wife and your kids. Enjoy the boat that you got. Go fishing every day. Go hunting. Go on vacations. Be a snowbird. Like you worked really hard for your money all of your life. So even if you don't want to stop working, when are you going to enjoy it? Right? So those are some of the things that we'll try to help people plan out. Although it seems so far in the distance, it is truly something we have to start when we're young.
Yeah. Well, and like, I think that you should be always preparing for that. So, I mean, I know, I'm joking, but I really think like the second you really start to die is the second you stop doing something productive towards society. And, for me, like I absolutely love helping to work with, create and develop leaders. That's something I can do real talk until, hey, I'm stuck in a bed or something, because I don't have to go physically go turn a wrench or lift a 50-pound bag or what have you. I think that's one of the cool things about being the financial advisor, financial planners. You could legitimately do that for until 97, 98.
Absolutely. But I would be lying to myself if I didn't say there's not going to come a day where no matter how much I love to do this stuff, I want to build up the practice where I have such a great team that influences me and reflects my vision, that when it comes to the point where I want to enjoy being with my family and my kids and my grandkids, and I want to put all of my efforts there, the people I built below me that work for me or work with me for years, it's going to be like copy paste of Jess, and those clients are going to be so well taken care of that they're not even going to know I'm gone, right? Replacing me in the best possible way is the ultimate goal, because I would be lying if I didn't say I want a lake house and my fiance wants a really expensive boat and I want to be able to chill on the pontoon with the mimosa and have my grandkids laughing and playing and not have to be in an office every day. And that's just the truth. But I'm also not that old in my back and my neck. And it's like that commercial where they're like, my neck, my back, like we just can't, be unrealistic in some of these planning things. So.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the address to where is this lake house with the boat? That sounds
well,
like a lot
I
of
will
fun.
tell you as soon as I have it locked and loaded, we will have a party. We will do it all up. We will get a whole big shindig and I'll invite everybody I know.
I'm going to hold you to it.
Play some cornhole, some mimosas, some good old Minnesota fishing. That's what we'll do.
I'll be waiting for my Facebook invite.
There you go.
If Facebook's even around then.
Hey, I was a MySpace person. I hope that, there's going to be something that's going to grow and continue, flourishing our social media, I'm sure. So
I was not a MySpace person. I couldn't care less about that one.
It was just a good way to get my, friends connected. And in the day and age where you're kind of taught that, technology is a huge thing. You never, FOMO is kind of a thing for me. I have a fear of missing out. And so even as a kid, it's like, how can I hear what's going on and stay connected? And now as an adult, I'm like, I have FOMO from like missing a TV show with my fiance at 8:00 at night. Like I want to be on my couch. I want to be, it's just crazy how life changes, but.
Yeah, I was about to say, but most of those shows you can just watch on Hulu again in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I could, but it's not as special when you got somebody next to you you're not alone and, a long day's work and you can just sit and watch popcorn and have a beer and just chill,
Or you could just like, hey, we missed out, so we just catch it at 9 instead of 8.
Aaron, I get up early. I'm tired, like very, very early.
You said you're young.
I am, but when you're a grinder, there's no sleeping.
I was about to say, you only need two, maybe 3 hours of sleep. I mean, you good.
Oh, yikes. I don't know if I could do that.
No, I thought that was one of the hardest things about moving in. You're working for yourself was the amount of hours that you put in. But I mean, I tell everybody football prepared me for that. So, I mean, when it's coaching football, let me rephrase, because playing football, they were like, all right, cool. You're going to go to bed. You're going to get 8 hours of sleep. Coaching, it's like, all right. So while they're asleep, we got these other 5 hours worth of stuff to do. And, by the way, you're only going to get an hour's worth of sleep tonight.
There's different stages of life that prepare us for something else. And I think that's even a pretty good, I guess, indicator to like, are you being successful in what you do? Because do you learn to grow to handle the environment and the situation you're in to make something work, especially when you're your own boss or you're self-employed? Like, do you show the grind and do you show the payoff? Or would you rather be sitting in a corporate house from 8 to 5 being told what to do? And what's the trade-off? What's the end goal? And what are you consistently feeling like it suits you, it calms you, you feel like you're, spiritually, emotionally invested into it? Because I can tell you one thing, having a corporate job and sitting there with somebody telling me what to do was not my vision. And that's kind of where you just have to transition into how hard am I going to work and how much effort am I going to put into this? And you will reap the reward if you do that.
If you're listening and thinking, my team needs this, that's exactly why Coach Clark Leadership and Development exists. We partner with businesses, churches, and organizations that want practical leadership training, not theory, but tools leaders can use immediately. If you're responsible for developing people, let's talk soon. Visit CoachAClark.com. Oh, no, I totally understand. And so that kind of segues into what I like to kind of end the show on, I believe that all leaders are readers. Not all readers are leaders, but leaders are learners. We're constantly growing and working on ourselves to make ourselves better. And so what would you say is one book that all leaders or entrepreneurs should read?
I love that. I would have to say with the one I just recently finished, if you are kind of in the mindset where you want to learn a little bit more about money and why do we think the ways that we do, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel is amazing. That one is going to teach you a little bit about what does it mean to be, risky and have a reward, or being more laid back and safe, but maybe not seeing the kind of growth that you want. And believe it or not, financial planning is 1010% tied to psychology because we fear the unknown. We don't want to let go of something we worked hard for, and risk is very scary. So all of those things tie into that. So absolutely recommend reading that. Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. The one I'm kind of in between reading is How to Win Friends and Influence Others. And that one's by Dale Carnegie. And that one just puts so much perspective into, client building, relationship building, understanding how people work, a little bit of that psychology aspect. But man, it'll kind of trick your brain a little bit into thinking like, wow, do I really know as much as I thought I did?
No, that's my absolute favorite book. Now, besides the Bible, but
and the Bible will fuel your soul. So let's not say I cut that one out.
Well, for me, I was talking with somebody about that earlier today, and I was like, all right, so besides the Bible, but I think the Bible has such great leadership application. It talks about how to manage your finances. It talks about how to build a business. There's all of this in the Bible that people don't realize is all in there. But my favorite book besides the Bible is How to Win Friends and Influence People, because that's what we do as leaders. We win friends and influence people. It's
absolutely
what leadership is influence. If you don't have influence, you don't have anything.
Yes.
Man, no, I love it.
Being a leader takes a lot of confidence, and it also takes kind of an aspect of protection, because if you're a leader and you have followers or you have leaders that are looking up to you, you have to be able to protect others that are, watching you, and protect yourself of being too egotistical or full of yourself, because there is an aspect of being a really, really, really good leader and staying humble with it and being able to show other people, hey, if you do it this way and if you just stick with it, you will get there, and letting people kind of live by your testimony. And that's a big one that I even say, even tying that to the Bible. If you can show a really good testimony, people are going to feel that, they're going to see that, and they're going to ask those questions that are just so important to the next step of their life.
Oh, I agree. So yeah, I haven't read The Psychology of Money yet. It is on my list. I have it in my Amazon list of books to buy and read, but I still got a few back here that I hadn't read. So I was like, no more.
Yeah, you have a lot of reading to do there.
Until I've read them. Well, I've read probably about 60% of the ones I have.
There you go.
My wife told me no more until I finish reading all the ones that I have so far.
Hey, knowledge is power at the end of the day. So if you are going to take the time to read and learn and open up that brain, we're only going to make ourselves better at the end of the day.
Well, I like to change that thought, because knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power.
Applied knowledge is power. Absolutely. Yes. I will now critique that, because that is 100% true. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I can read all about being a financial planner, but if I don't ever go and actually help clients or invest their money, do I really know about financial planning?
Absolutely. Well, and it makes sense. Why would I build a plan for somebody and tell them all of the things that they can and cannot have if they don't want to apply it? And that is the biggest thing. So I'll give you the knowledge, and if you want to apply it and see where you go from there, great. And I will be right there next to you.
Yes. Now, my last question that I ask everybody: what's one thing that I should have asked you that maybe I didn't ask you?
I would say a question that I think would have been beneficial is, why would anybody choose to talk to a financial planner versus just trying to do it on their own and looking up everything on the internet? Well,
so why would somebody want to get a financial planner versus looking it up on the internet?
Yeah, and we may be brushed over a little bit, kind of like I said, the over analysis becomes paralysis. But what I really want people to understand is, Seeking a professional is not a sign of weakness. It is not a sign of lacking knowledge. It is just you showing that you want to make sure that things are done the right way and be able to have the financial literacy and the knowledge to know all of your options out there. Because if you weren't taught these things from a parent or a grandparent or your education, then when are you going to learn these things? Because the only thing that we have on our side is time, and time will compound itself. And before you know it, in the blink of an eye, time is now gone. So if we don't be proactive when we're young and just ask the questions, there are people that are millionaires that have financial advisors. There are people that don't make anything that have financial advisors. And every single person in between is going to have somewhere that they should be starting. So don't think that this is a sign of weakness, a sign of step back, and do not think that you have to have money to make money and learn these things, because that's absolutely not true.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that like changed how I felt and thought about it was I started looking, I said, these people that are worth, I don't know, 9 and 10 figures, they all have a financial advisor. They all have a CPA. They all have an accountant. They've all got their own lawyer.
Absolutely. The triple threat: financial advisors, accountants, and attorneys. And those are the three things I always tell my clients: make sure you got them in your pocketbook, because you will need them at some point, sometime.
Yes. Especially if you go into business for yourself, you will need maybe one at a time, sometimes all three at a time.
Absolutely. Preach.
So, oh man, this has been awesome, Jessalyn. So if anybody has any questions or they want to reach out to you to find out more information, how do they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. I am one for give me a ring. I love to talk to people. If you're maybe a little more laid back and you don't like to talk, you can text me, email me, find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. One thing is, I don't charge for what I do, and I don't want people to be scared to ask those questions. So whatever form of communication makes a person most comfortable, just do it. Don't wait another second. Let's have that conversation. Let's rock and roll. Let's make a relationship and see where we can get you.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you hopping on and spending some time with us and just enlightening and sharing your knowledge with our listeners. We'll definitely have to do another one.
Oh, of course. I'm Chatty Cathy over here. So no, I appreciate it so much. I'm glad to be of assistance for anybody. And I appreciate you taking the time and having me on today.
Awesome. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. See you later.
If this episode added value to you, here are your next steps. If you lead an organization and want to develop strong leaders, connect with us at Coach Clark Leadership and Development. We have a free 30-minute connection discovery call. If you're a growth-minded leader looking for community and accountability, join Leadership Multipliers. Either way, don't just consume leadership, commit to it. Man, what a powerful conversation. If there's one thing that I hope you take away from this episode, it's this. Everyone has a starting point. You don't have to wait until you have it all figured out. You just need to start. Small steps taken consistently can completely change your financial future. Huge thank you to Jessalyn for coming on the show and dropping so much value. Make sure you connect with her using the links in the show notes so you can continue learning from her and take control of your financial journey. And if this episode added value to you, do me a favor, share it with someone who needs to hear it. That's how this community grows and gets this message out to more and more people. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode, and stay connected with me on social media at Coach_A_Clark. If you've got questions or topics you want covered in the show, submit them through the Ask the Coach form. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, remember, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. So keep leading, keep learning, keep connecting, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Clark Connection Podcast. Thanks for listening to the Clark Connection Podcast. If today's episode added value to you, do me a favor, follow the show and share it with someone who needs it. You can connect with me at my website, CoachAClark.com, or on social media at Coach A. Clark. All the links are in the description. Until next time, keep leading, keep growing, and keep connecting.